starting a job on a Viper 4 version 23 and later. On the right hand side, well, there's three ways to start your job. So on the right hand side, first thing you'll notice is the start job button. Now, because this unit is running cloud jobs, you'll notice I have a cloud on my button. If you're not running cloud jobs, you won't have that cloud. Once I hit start job, I am getting this warning because I haven't driven the sprayer. I just turned the key on, so we're going to ignore that for right now. And this page pops up, which looks very similar to what the Viper 4 has been running for years. So at the very least, I have to put in a rate, and I can hit play and I can start to spray. What we should be doing is trying to fill in a grower farm field for our data keeping and our records. And if we want to save guidance lines and all that kind of stuff, that's handy to do. So if we hit the pen and paper at the top, I can select a grower, a farm, and a field, and that is now populated. If I hit the pen and paper again, if I have a new field that's not in there, I can hit the pen and paper, go down and select my field, and I can hit the plus button and I can add another field underneath there. Growers, farms, fields, and jobs can also be imported into the monitor from something like AFS Connect or some other programs like that. Now, once we have our grower farm field selected, the job name comes up as a date and a time. You should rename that so it's easier to re-find a job if you have to go back to it. All those numbers get confusing. I usually recommend entering the field name and maybe the product that you're running. So home quarter Roundup or home quarter Centurion, just so it's a quick, easy thing to grab from the list when you're trying to re-enter a job. The Scout button. The Scout button is essentially going to be your boundary. So I have a boundary called Regina Shop that's going to be loaded. Now, if your boundaries are computer drawn and not machine driven, they might not be accurate. It might cause you some issues with nozzles shutting off around the edge of the field. If you want, you can go in there, highlight it, and you can select none, and you can remove that boundary. If I filter by grower farm field, I only have one choice to pick, and I can have my Regina Shop boundary back on there. The guidance button, if we hit the drop down on that, we can tell it what guidance line we want to record as soon as we go into this job. Straight, last pass, all the different ones. But if I scroll down to the bottom, there are pre-saved guidance lines in this unit. So if I filter that by grower farm field and scroll down, I can see I have one guidance line only now that is assigned for this particular field. Now, on older versions of our software, our shared guidance lines or saved guidance lines would not show up from other machines unless we removed the filter. And then we could go down, but we'd have all of guidance lines for the whole farm. Newer software is fixing this. Okay. Now, once we have our job name created, our guidance selected, our boundary selected, we have to tell it what rate we're going to spray. You can see that my product is selected. I can't change it. That was pre-selected before we started the job. I can hit play and start my job. I'm going to X out of this. Now, another way to start a job, if I hit this play button here, it changes the look of the monitor. So now I can go in and I can filter. I can say my grower is Young's Equipment. My farm is Regina. My field is Regina Shop. Now I got a picture of the boundary that I have running. I can either resume my last job, which was Roundup Regina, or I can start a new job in that field. So once I hit start new, I get back to this same page. I can customize my job name, select my guidance line, keep my boundary or remove my boundary, punch in my rate, hit play and start my job. So that is an optional way to start a job on the Viper 4. Now, we also have a third way. So if you notice on this map, I have a boundary that I'm sitting in. This is my Regina field. So if I tap on that, you'll notice it comes up with a boundary. Now I have two boundaries in here. One of them doesn't have a grower farm field. So this is the one I want to select. If I select that, it shows me what jobs are made in that boundary. So I can either pick this Regina one, this test job, or I can start a new job in that boundary. So if I hit start new job, you can see it's pre-selected. My scout or my boundary is there. I can pick my guidance line, rename my job name, and put my rate in and start my job. So 3 different ways to start your job. Now, if I actually go into a job, I got my boundary, I got my rate. I can hit my play button. And load up, and I am now sitting in a field, ready to start to spray.